Come on. The screen is yours.
They're slashing each other. And Endpoint.
There we go.
Endpoint have taken the knife round. So they'll be starting on the T side.
Can someone clip that, please?
They're knifing each other.
Slashing. Ooh,
Oh, slashing.
They're slashing each other.
God. Wow.
My job's like it's on the edge.
I feel like this is the pinnacle of my casting career, to be fair. The Gamdom Prem has reinvigorated my life.
Can't wait for season 2.
Season?
Yeah.
Is this a weekly occurrence, Tom? Have
It
you
is
already been
now.
hired? We're booked in.
I've leaked it.
20 seasons of
Already-
Gamdom Prem.
we leaked game 5 that they're adding as well. I think we also came up with a
Gamdom After
game
Dark?
6, but I
yeah.
can't remember what it was.
Something ludicrous, probably.
Yeah. Well, either way, we are into our pistol round. Only bit of utility is onto Mighty Max, and it comes with a kit, but Henky G's already going to be kicking things off. Will they check for Thomas? No, they won't, but Henky G's still going strong. Pulse is on the scene. There is a flank coming in from Luzza, being a little bit sneaky, shifting all the way up. Nets himself one frag and a second as well, gives the man advantage over, and Luzza wants more, but he's actually almost just baited for his teammate and giving it over to Henky G to try and go for the ace, needing the lot himself, and it's not going to happen. It will be Mighty Max to close things out. We can just call him Max now, actually, because the other player has got... Unless maybe there's someone on the other team who's actually called Max, but likes to be referred to as something
Well, that's
else.
what I mean. He was never at any point in time actually called Max. He was
good old
always
Martin.
Martin. Bloody Martin. Luzza, though, finding these frags. Lovely stuff on the retake there. Actually looked quite effective and gave Endpoint the kick they needed to get this round. And that's a
bit
good
like
start.
CPAVKY with Martin.
Yeah. Kicked him right out the door. Stop trying to warp your own team and get out the server.
Well, only going to be a few pistols here. Obviously, Henky G getting quite a few kills in the previous round, so he's going to invest into some Kevlar alongside it. We'll still have enough money to buy into the next round. We'll see how much damage they can do. Obviously, very safe buy from Endpoint. They know what's coming in the next round. Either it would have been a force into this one. Like, there was the potential for maybe Henky to drop an AK to someone, which I do quite like that strategy if you have that sort of star player. But I guess in the last round, he was that star player, so probably just went, nah, you're all right. I'll keep my AK in the next.
Are you a fan of Henky G's profile picture there as well, Tom?
Yes.
Which is the Skype emoticon dancing monkey.
I didn't know. I just knew. Well, I just saw a monkey and I was like, you know, I quite like that. But you have given me the
That's the true backstory of where that comes from.
It's
It's a little dancing monkey emote you can get on Skype.
I am not a Skype connoisseur.
I didn't think anyone was anymore.
No, it's gone out of fashion. Maybe that's what it's like a retro
I
throwback.
do like they
You're a
have like
hipster.
hidden.
Yeah.
They have hidden emotes on there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Like if you put the word mooning in brackets, you get something quite interesting.
it's your head.
Also, also you get finger. You can do that one as well. I wouldn't do that to anybody you don't want to insult, though. I shouldn't be teaching people this.
You get people fired. Not safe for work, of course. Frags coming through towards the A site. B site, rather. Damage is done. That's a pretty clean sleep for Endpoint, though. I mean, they only lose one player. Luzza goes down. Everyone else is pretty happy about that as they get through. CPAVKY not being able to find a round just yet. Henky G's the only one that's actually really found any frags. Apart from Neo.
I think we've lost the HP, by the way. I think just we need a quick map.
Oh, yeah, there's no...
Map bringer. There we go.
There we go.
Sorted. Sorted. There's going to be 2-0. Now we get the AKs in play. Azak Wow's not going to have any head armor, so he'll be a little bit more vulnerable in this round. A shot to the face will do the trick. In most cases it will, although I don't recommend that. Prison sentences can be quite brutal for that sort of thing.
Is this a throwback to you and Frankie having a restraining order, or have I missed something?
I
Dead.
apologized, and, you know, it's okay for me to be this close to Tom now.
Oh, it was the other way around. Tom's at the restraining order on you. Wow.
He did, but not a very expensive one. That's why I'm allowed to be this close.
Is that how it works?
What, restraining orders?
The more you pay, the further they have to be
further
away.
you get. Right, you're going to have to move to South Africa, I'm afraid. They've given us a lot of money.
Yeah, you've insulted a billionaire. You're going to have to move to the moon.
Hope you like Pluto, boy.
So you can't send me there. It's not even a planet.
Oy.
Ah. But it is the T's slowly making their way forward. A singular flashbang is all they have to get them into this site. And the CT is playing very passively at the moment, still with a little bit of utility to spare. So they do look to just try and slow down this push. Rotation actually coming in towards a B stack. Not quite the right read. And they've got Luzza jump spotting, but mainly towards long, and nobody's making their way in that direction. Mighty Max is going to start rotating back. It seems like someone was spotted. Luzza is going to be waiting.
Ooh, Joe Ducky loose. Can this chef cook up something tasty? Unfortunately not. That's only a 1-star restaurant play as he goes down. Henky G finds that frag. Bomb's been planted. 4 players reign on Endpoint, but they don't really fancy it. They can't handle the heat, so they're going to get out of the kitchen top.
Yeah, they've still got the majority of their players on weapons they can drop for the remainder as well. I wonder if they'll actually be able to even afford an AWP. They might be able to drop one over to Luzza, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think they may be trying to somehow retrieve it, but instead Cheeky actually going to go down instead, maybe not wanting to allow CPAVKY to exit with all 5 players, which is a pretty decent start to their T side, especially in these early round positions. That's mainly why Endpoint have opted to save in this scenario, because realistically they don't want to be reset completely this early on.
Yeah, if their cash just got absolutely destroyed right now, it'd be a bit of a struggle for them to really start to come back from it. At least with 3 players saving, you can actually drop weapons over and you can get a full buyout. As long as you have 3 players save, you're going to have to cash, it'll be alright. So reinvestment goes in, you've got utility there as well. 3 players going to be coming out, the triple musketeer kit boy play.
A little bit more aggression this time. Max with very little support. In fact, he's just going to fall back. Teammate lost already. I believe that might have been the sort of boosted player head removed. It's already going to be a bit of a problem for Endpoint. Of course, this round they will be reset if they lose. Not going to have all that extra money. They don't manage to get an AWP onto Luzza either, so things can be slightly weakened. And again, they're looking like they're going to try and gamble more heavily over towards this B side. It does allow for the same sort of scenario to come in, where if it doesn't work out for them, if they aren't pushed, they can just go for the save. And I can sort of understand it in these sort of rounds where you already have a few limitations, utility isn't great, and you don't just want to throw it all away. And they may have just struck gold as the T side are rotating into their direction.
Yeah, going for this now play against the B site. Everyone from Endpoint's there. The Sheik pad does chuck out a cheeky little Molotov, but they're going to fall back. Luzza just waiting with a Famos as well as they push their way up through. Luzza gets one, takes out the first man, going to whop him out, looks for a little bit more, but instead Henky G will pick up 2 kills and CPAVKY will go 2-2 in terms of rounds.
I think, can we look at the scoreboard at the moment? Is literally Team Henky G. Like 9 kills, everyone else with 2 between them. Like that's ridiculous.
It's a good
like,
day
it's
for the
just
Hank.
carried them through the last couple of rounds. So that is madness. And the problem, like, it's great. It's got them into a decent position. There's no way you can carry that on. Probably break a record if he did. But there we go. The new boy in the server, Neo, who's actually added a little bit to his name.
Neotivy.
Yeah.
Quite close to a nativity. Nativity, rather.
Yeah. It's actually much closer than the way you said it.
I know. He's almost said it right. I was way off.
But of course, this is not child's play.
Wait.
Luzza always seems to get 1 in these sort of pistol rounds, and actually has managed to net himself an AK-47. Considering the loss bonus is only at 2,400, any bonus that can be made by Endpoint will be greatly appreciated. Pulse does actually have a little bit of extra cash, so I think we may see the AWP actually come back into the next round, so that's something at least for Endpoint to play with, and I'm sure that he'll appreciate an AK-47 in return if it can be kept.
It's also interesting as well, Tom, because it's the fact that Luzza, as much as he is like a dedicated AWPer, his rifling skills are pretty much as good, if not better in some cases, when he has an AK. Because he can just be unreal at being able to pick up frags with the AK and pushing in. Sometimes it's better to just actually have him on the rifle rather than an AWP in rounds if you're playing more of a faster style of CS. So if he holds onto it himself even, maybe he can try and do some damage with it.
Oh, let's see. No. He is going to be handed that AWP, and Pulse will get that AK in return. Who was it? Was it Pulse who was picking up the secondary AWP when they were playing yesterday?
Yeah, it would have been. Pulse is probably the safest bet for the secondary AWP on that side. I mean, CPAVKY likes to use it, but I don't feel like he should really be picking it up over any of those players, really.
Okay. Oh, guys, can I... No.
Calm down, CPAVKY.
This is definitely the best buy we've seen on the CT side from Endpoint so far. Still have a FAMAS in place, so not ideal. And the T side definitely seem... Well, CPAVKY definitely seems like he's here to play on Overpass. Of course, Endpoint definitely seemed much better on their T side yesterday, and that was against a much more structured roster of Euronics. At the same time, I'll be interested to see if CPAVKY can look to turn the tide and bring things onto a third map. Mighty Max will kick things off. That FAMAS is no detriment to him, and after finding the opening pick, he's just going to look to play things a lot safer. Back towards the A site he goes, back towards the AWP of Lazar. And in the meantime, Zyred is going to look to find an opening. He does. It should be a trade, and a trade it is. CPAVKY goes pushing back in. Pop flash out, and Pulse goes to peek, but he meets his doom as CPAVKY continues his reign of terror. Now, actually, this could be a problem, because Max is going pushing. Depends what direction he goes in. If he goes through the spawn, he could come across the bomb. Unlikely. And actually, he's going to go rotating back. Now, if CPAVKY picks this up along the way, the only way that I see them losing the round here is if Max actually somehow manages to catch him on his way past.
Oh, Max is going to hear this as well. He's elephant footing, he's sprinting his way around. Max, oh, with a play as well, spots out the head of the other player. Lazar has killed Azak. Wow, in the meantime, the round is over. Nietiv realizes what's occurred. He's got to scarper out of there and try and stay alive as he posts up by the fountain. Endpoint, now third round collected, bringing it into a 3-3 as they keep it close. Tom, this is boding well for Endpoint to actually come back through. Obviously, in terms of the cash as well, they've got the rifles that were saved there. Got the FAMAS on CPAVKY, Pulse with an M4, Lazar still donning the AWP. 5 AKs shipped up for the side of CPAVKY, but is there going to be something different for him now? Smoke goes over from Virgil. This actually could be quite a fast burst out. Try and go for an aggressive play. Max is going to be a little bit confused about what they're going for and try and reposition, play from a defensive angle. Zyred as well. He's going to go for the boost up, get someone on the angle, try peer into the site.
A lot of damage already done. I actually quite like this boost. We started seeing players jump up on there quite a bit more often to peek in towards short. It does sometimes leave your fellow player a little bit more open, especially because it's not such an aggressive angle where you can sort of slow down a lot of the pushes from short, but definitely catches a lot of players off guard, especially in the late round scenarios. It's a bit like the players that jump up on the railings towards the very back once you go through Monster.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that for the first time like a few years ago from like a Lithuanian player called Undercover, and he'd do it every round, and people would still not check it because they were just like, what is he doing? Like, why is he there? Just doesn't make any sense. But every time I use it, no one ever comes down Monster, so I always get tilted. Pushed out of position. Fire those Molotovs. 40 seconds left on the clock, and the late utility is still holding back this T side, and there are a lot of players. Like, look at the position of Max that just allows them to do this. He's waiting on the rotation. 4 players here from the CT side, and they have just slaughtered their opponents. Great read, great map control, and an all-out great round from Endpoint.
Yeah, that was actually a good defense. They were able to play off the back of each other. They knew what was going on. And also, as you said, they actually use utility correctly. You keep it into the late round, you're able to waste so much time with those smokes up there. At the last point in that, CPAVKY, they have to just rush in. They don't really have a read on what's going on in the situation, and they get slaughtered because of it, and everyone just goes down. So the CT side for Endpoint, showing signs of resurfacing. They just have to continue on and not make the same mistakes. Lazar as well, early smoke round, launches that HE out, and transfers quite a bit of damage actually onto the opponent AWPer.
He loves doing that. It's like most rounds. He is actually going to find the opening pick. A little bit of disparity between the call coming in. CPAVKY's been good so far, and well, there's the nade to finish off Pulse. Further damage done by utility, and actually, I feel like CPAVKY, they've got to make the call to fall back here. This is just where you don't want to force the issue. If you get bogged down like that, I think it's the same if you push out of A ramp on Mirage. If you start getting bogged down and slowed down in Monster, you always get stuck and you always end up losing the round. So falling back, definitely the right decision. They leave one player there, and unfortunately CPAVKY is going to take him down and give the man advantage over to Endpoint.
Well, 3-on-4 now, as they seem to set their gaze up towards the A site. And Frankie, what do you reckon's going to go down here?
I reckon Endpoint are looking pretty secure.
So if they lose this round, it's her fault.
Frankie's cursed them, really.
That was scary because it didn't sound that much like a witch.
Yeah, it was interesting. Max, though, up to the old interesting tricks, come round, hits him with a party attack. He's a bit of a party pooper. He's pooped on their party. They've got nothing left. Only 2 players now, Tom.
Nobody wants cake when there's blood all over the table. And still sneaking in the back lines. Zio Red, about to be Zio dead. As he is left all alone into a 1v4, no time either, so the second he goes for any sort of plant here, he is absolutely screwed. And Max, again, a decent round from him. I like the fact that he plays almost sort of a free roam aggressive style and always seems to just get into the back lines of this team. At the moment, they haven't been able to shut him down.
I think the thing is, right, just because they've had to restructure the roster and they've lost you've lost Aaron, you've lost Weber, it's a completely different team to what we kind of saw when they brought everyone together originally. Adding in Thomas and Shiki. Shiki, the more of the sort of the online caller, quite a loud sort of player, very aggressive in terms of what he wants to do, quite a big presence in the server. Thomas, he's more of your mad fragger, going to be quite loose, try and play that aggressive style of CS. And for Max, I think he's just kind of got a freedom to do what he wants. Shiki actually gets put down by Pulse. Pulse is furious, he's killed him, but he's going to carry on anyway, bloodthirsty of course, as he gets the double up. Thomas going to spray down, heaven from above, as he is able to find those frags on Virgil. And Endpoint do get a rapid round there, but CPAVKY, at least they get the bomb plant. That'll be something nice for them. But yeah, I think Max has kind of just decided now that if this is the way the roster's going to be, allow me to play off the play a little bit more looser, play off the leash, try and go for those pushes. Because Max can be an unreal player individually. He can single-handedly carry rounds if he's allowed to. He can be quite wild. I mean, used to be known as Deadly many years ago, and he's proven that in the server today.
To be fair, Deadly Max doesn't quite have the same.
Well, it was just Deadly.
Okay.
Just Deadly. Not
what
Deadly
Max
and then Mighty Max. Mad Max. That was when he had his franchise of films for a brief period. That was quite good. Obviously.
I did like the mask.
Yeah. Yeah. It suited him.
It means he couldn't shout at you anymore.
The muzzle was. Yeah,
that's
was
why.
effective.
That's what it was. They finally took it off, and then he was like, "Right, that's it. I've had enough of it."
He's no longer Max the Blood Bag.
The flick from Lazar. Can be quite random at times. Isn't going to find that opening pick. Max will actually does go down in return, and Lazar misses a second shot. We saw this yesterday at points on this short position. He wasn't able to find the pick, but
is he DC'd?
He's not going to find that kill.
Oh no, he's just standing that entire time setting up for the smoke.
Yeah. Eventually gets the chance to throw it out. Probably a little bit scared after being shot. Lazar is going to go down, and Thomas can't do much more, but he does take Zio Red with him, or at least Summit style. And then it will be Pulse and Shiki to try and retake this one. Don't have a whole lot of time to do it.
Well, 2-on-3. The only utility they have is 1 flash and 1 Molotov, and Shiki's going to be there with him. Beast from the northeast, as they try and push their way back into the site. They need to be quick about this. Pop flash is going out. They're not going to be jumping on the bomb just yet as the push comes around. They don't have a smoke, and there is no real way you can try and get them to peek to your advantage. You are going to go down. They lose that round. That's a 4-6 scoreline now. CPAVKY starting to come back into this spot. There's so much cash for Endpoint. They've got a ton of money. They can reinvest. You've got the AWP over on Lazar again, so they're still going to be pretty happy about this.
Not a bad position to be with, but the opportunity for a reset is going to be coming in. Again, it's one of those rounds where you sort of feel that if Lazar could have got even one of the kills, even the one where he actually hits the shot, we could have changed the whole round. We'll see if that does take a bit of a knock to his confidence. Clearly not. Playing a very aggressive angle on towards that short spot. Again, it's only going to be one player. It's Mighty Max over towards A. And we'll look to just play a little bit more of a passive stance, and probably rightly so, as there are 3 players now taking that position towards long. Lazar will eventually rotate in. It's going to be the spot coming out over towards that mid position. T-side, they've taken themselves quite a lot of control, and actually Zio Red throwing down that smoke doesn't mean they can actually push quite close to Lazar, and he's homed in on the angle. Look at Max slowly being surrounded by those terrorist dots. They have actually got the rotation in. Molotov going to be thrown out, but they're already past it as Akwao takes it down to just 2 defending this site. And let's see if this time if Lazar can hit the shots.
Oh, Lazar, even whilst he's in the midst of trying to retreat from the Molotov to get to a better angle, still is able to punish as he's popping heads with the AWP, looking for more as well. The response is there. Neo. Thomas wasn't unfortunately able to do his best dodge underneath the bullets that are whizzing towards him. The frags are going the way of Neo with the AWP. Virgil as well punishes Lazar, but Pulse comes through. 2 huge kills as he hammers them both down, just looks for the third, and Virgil gets the tap off with the AK. Oh, that is deadly as he finds that frag. Oh, does throw away all of his guns though, in a bit of an interesting one at the end.
Yeah, luckily there isn't going to be a buy coming in for the opposing team, so it's not going to bite them too much, but even just a bit of damage here for Endpoint could be enough that they can reset them going into the next couple of rounds. Like, I'd say 2 kills would probably be enough, so that's going to help them out at least a bit. We're going to have just pistols here, but a lot of aggression in towards that connector, and actually there's multiple players here from T side. We saw some decent eco rounds coming out from Endpoint yesterday. Can they pull off anything here and now?
CPAVKY very close to actually getting the advantage here. I mean, they should win this round. That'll be a 6-6, and the mixed side being able to upset really against the team of Endpoint. Endpoint holding for their angle push, trying to go for the aggressive burst round. The smoke's going to fade. First contact found as Thomas shoots through, but Azakwao with the AK is allowed to slay. Responds with a kill on Mighty Max, and now they just sprint in. They try and take control of the B-bomb site, but they get a little bit caught. They decide to fight that entire time. The bomb was on shore in the combat they got stuck in. So the bomb drops down now, Tom. They've got vision on it. It's going to be hard for HenkyG to recover it here. That's kind of interesting from the CPAVKY side that they decided to just sit there and duke it out.
They are going to look to try and split peek this, but really I think it's down to Pulse to make some sort of flank. Lazar just trying to hold the headshot angle. Bomb is going to be retrieved. He finds himself the first, can't quite get the second. With 25 seconds left, I almost feel like the push has to go in towards this B site, and that's exactly where Pulse is going to be waiting. Looks like he's playing this perfectly, just waiting for that plant, and he wins himself the round out of nothing. Endpoint still one away. I said 2 kills probably would have been enough for them to have that potential reset. Hey, 5 will do the job too.
Yeah, CPAVKY basically throwing that round there for themselves. They had the bomb on that player. You get up short. Just push into the site. Stop trying to take the fight there. You've got enough picks. B site's clear. Take site control. Just get it down. At least don't stand there and fight if you have the bomb in your hands, because you die. It drops into water. It's miles away. It wasn't easily recoverable, and throwing the round all from themselves, Tom. Early HE comes in as well. Lazar, he's been casting that out every time. Slam dunking on him. He's got a good throwing arm.
Bring back Negative Max. I think we need him.
Azakwao. There's no longer going to be a pulse for Pulse. As he finds that frag, and the slow play comes around, just tiptoeing up towards this B site. They're going to try their luck there again. They're going to put it all on black and go for the gamble, but they're going to get the jackpot, Tom.
Oh yeah, this will be very painful for Endpoint if they go from winning a surprise round to losing one, if anything more surprising. And it is looking fairly likely at the moment. Still a few low players on either side, and it's going to be Max taking the peak. Taglo, of course, there's no utility left. It is just going to be the drive push in. Max manages to find the first, and it is disjointed from the T side, and that's exactly what Endpoint needed. If you want to push in separately, we have the advantage in every single situation when it comes to those rifles, and what looked like a strong position, I think the mix is starting to show, well, why they are more of a mixed team, because even just that, like calling when to push in, one player went in, then another player, then 2 tried to push through Monster. Well, this is it, pretty much. Very disjointed.
Yeah. Bit all over the place. Maybe that is what they lack, just the cohesion. Because it seems like right now they're being able to go toe-to-toe in terms of kills. Tons of that is just because of HenkyG, though. He's just been getting so many frags from the rounds they actually did find. 12 kills to his name right now, so a bit of a slowdown. Started to plateau.
Still over 100 ADR though.
Yeah.
The only man, other than that, with those sort of statistics is actually Luzzer. Well, this round's not going much better. They actually do invest a fair bit into that one, but they're going to be able to get themselves the AK-47s in this. At least for the final round, we will see a buy onto either side. Luzzer and Pulse picking up that double orb setup. It really does show how much that Luzzer has been doing, considering we see him like sort of hit and miss. Like he misses a lot of shots and then he's still sat on 15 kills.
It's because of the playstyle that he has that we sort of didn't see versus Yonex. He can be quite aggressive. He does sort of want to be in your face, you know, constantly trying to go for those early faces. But then sometimes it seems like he'll take a confidence hit and he'll play the slowest style of CS you've ever seen. Won't go for faces, doesn't really go for peaks, just plays it really close to his chest and gets left in these situations where you need to try and force the issue sometimes. If you are that AWPer, go for a first pick. Try and create an opener. He's actually been doing a good job of it into this matchup. Maybe more confidence than they had versus Euronics, feeling like he can go for an overextension. It'll pay off if he gets the kill. Pulse as well comes through with one. Max going to be able to shut down another man. And already, not long into the round, Tom, about 1 minute and 6 seconds still left on the clock. There's only 2 players left for CPAVKY. They have to try and recover that bomb as well, and it's over by the Sliggy special. It's not in a great spot. There it is.
Well, Zyred will catch Shiki. Mighty Max is going to peek out, but Dink will be hit. Another shot comes in. 10-5, another double digits half for Endpoint. It has been a strong performance. In fact, it's both of the players who've been sat towards that A site who have been doing such an excellent job. Mighty Max and Luzzer, 17 and 15 kills apiece. And now, well, if they take themselves the pistol, they really could run away with this one. We saw them with a good T half yesterday, and CPAVKY haven't been too impressive from what we've seen from them. It was sort of the earlier stages of the tournament. Obviously, they had a forfeit win as well, topping their group. And obviously, Endpoint finishing bottom of the teams that actually qualified. Obviously, that makes sense in terms of the seeding, but they now just need to sort of finish this one off to go through to the match, which basically could decide the whole tournament.
Yeah, that semi-final from Endpoint's side of the bracket means so much for really where this is going to go. So whoever wins this, and then whoever wins that semi-final, has pretty much secured themselves the whole tournament, really. So you're looking at either Endpoint or Euronics being the team that gets out. Endpoint, though, struggling versus CPAVKY, and for the absolute dominance that Euronics had versus Vega Squadron, a team that you feel like really on paper when you compare them is the harder game to have. That is definitely the harder quarterfinal. Euronics looking like strong contenders to walk away with that 50k.
We'll see if Endpoint are going to get that opportunity to face off against them. Look at Luzzer. He's managed to walk all the way through. The rest of his team are actually splitting, but he's going to have a very good flank here because they're not going to expect this. However, play from HenkyG again. He's just going to stop them planting that bomb. The trade's already coming in. Luzzer's now been heard, but he is still in on that flank and does manage a kill, but now the flank is all that's left, and it's going to be very difficult to get out of this position. Looking for at least a second kill, maybe a little bit of extra money made, but it's not going to happen. And I feel like with the position that he gained, I think Endpoint, maybe it just wasn't communicated quite properly, but if they waited like 15 seconds for him to just push slightly further forward, they could have had the ultimate flank for their push.
Yeah, some of the calls that Endpoint have had throughout the series so far just look a little bit interesting. Like, almost as if there's not full communication or they're flustered. Just overwhelmed in some ways. So, interesting. And this really shouldn't be the game where they're getting into that state, if that is the cause as well. You feel like that's going to be sort of versus Euronics in that semi-final. That's where it would really be getting to, the pressure would be mounted. But it seems like there's some kind of issues, to say the least, Tom. And into this round, game of bowling's been kicked off, nearly a strike as they get tagged up. 3 of the players going to be receiving a lot of health stripped clean off them, and HenkyG looks for a mad one, but instead has a pretty quiet night.
Oh, we've got the meta buy coming in from Endpoint with the CZs, but it's the MP9 of Zyred that's doing the damage. He's on for the ace. Only one man behind him, and he gets it as well. Shiki not able to close him down. His big hands on such a tiny gun, it just
doesn't really work. Can't get the actual grasp on it. It's just...
Can reach the trigger.
Yeah, it's awkward for him. It's actually the ace from Zyra as well, which is mental. In terms of the economy, he is going to be absolutely rich now.
He's going to be balling.
Yeah.
Well, Virgil decided he quite likes the CZ, as did his opponents in the previous round. Cheeky just going to be setting up a singular flash to try and burst them in, but the deep smoke somewhat ruins that, and that nade is just disgusting. Close to 300 damage done with that alone. Neo just going to be looking to try and make some extra stats for himself, but a couple of kills considering they only invested Glocks into that one really isn't bad at all. In the previous round coming down to only a couple of players remaining. Still, obviously, we saw a huge amount of money made off the back. 257 damage.
Yeah.
So almost through. I rounded it up. There you go.
Yeah, that is crazy though. In terms of individual damage with 1 HE, that is the most effective we've seen that nade be the entire time.
Very, very close to getting like $1 of damage, $1 per damage.
Dude, that was a double nade. That's like 4 kills right there, minimum.
Oh, aggression coming out from the CT side, and actually Henky G almost manages to get a second in there. He will take a nasty bite back himself, and the T's still in a fairly decent position here. Bear in mind, CT side don't have a huge amount of money remaining, and actually Mighty Max has now given them a man advantage in this round. Still looking like he wants to make a further play, and Virgil is going to be the main defender of this site. Peeks out, takes pulse. Sheiky can't trade. In fact, Virgil has just gone ham. He's left it all onto Luzzer. He's been good so far. You spoke about his rifle, and can he at least finish off Virgil? Yes, he can. Left into a 1 versus 2. A little bit of an off angle from Neo is going to be enough to take him down. 10-9. CPAVKY looking to drag this one back, as they are only 1 round behind.
Yeah, trying to bring it into a close position here. Obviously, a 10-10 on the horizon. It is definitely doable. Endpoint in terms of the buy, it's just going to be the CZ there on Sheiky. Pulse as well, now we're going to come back through. So, okay, pretty much CZ's across the board. Lazar with the P250, the preference there for Max. He's got a flash, Sheiky has the secondary flash, and you've got the smoke. Probably just a fast play, try and go for a burst, use the smoke to give you some kind of protection there, and just go for a more aggressive play in towards the B side. See what you can get out of it, see if you can try and luck out a little bit here. Azak, wow, if he actually pushes close, plays around the smoke, when it fades, maybe they can have the drop on him, because they do have the flash, they can go for the push. They're going to go in, but he's got complete clear vision. Now relays it to his teammate, falls back to an angle from defending. They drop the molly, but they're not actually trying to force the issue. They're just chilling out right now.
It is almost already managed one, and Zyra with a wild spray. It's actually going to be going down as well. So again, these pistols doing damage. The site actually looking like it's going to be taken to a bomb plant here for Endpoint. Well, that won't go a loss. They're going to make themselves a nice bit of extra cash. They have the max loss bonus coming in the next round as well. And that's if they lose, because we've got to see a retake now come in from the CT side. Decent amount of utility, although some of it's not going to go too well as it bounces back and smokes off the window instead. It is now the push coming back in. Incendiary thrown out. A couple of rifles retrieved, although Luzzer is tagged very low. Still going to be surviving in the corner. Mighty Max just waiting patiently, finds himself one. The spray is good from Azak. Wow, but actually Sheiky has brought this close. The defusal coming in. He's got to reload his gun and actually finds the kill anyway. Endpoint again, they win a round off very little. Will bolster their economy, and he even saves an AWP.
Yeah, that is huge. Much needed. Now giving Endpoint the favor. 11 rounds picked up. CPAVKY only on 9. Sheiky. I mean, he's so lucky here with the play as well and the timing, being able to get the adjustment. Had to go for the AWP shot. Would have been a little bit slow there. Couldn't quite do it. Sheiky just does him in, is able to find the round. And Endpoint, this should be a 12 picked up if they played their cards right, unless mistakes are made, because that seems to just be what's been going wrong for them right now. Cheeky plays come out from CPAVKY. They overwhelm them. They win rounds that are quite unorthodox. Then Endpoint gets stuck in a rut. The economy comes back to bite them, and they can't continue on from that position. But Endpoint, playing it slow, playing it steady. It's the right call to make as well. Play for the anti-eco. See if they're going to push in. If they're going for your face, that's when you got the range advantage. You can try and take them down. If they keep walking up like this as well, Tom, all the way up through mid and push round, these should be some easy frags. But the backstab potential is always there if it goes undetected.
Endpoint now right back in the driver's seat, but actually these pistols still doing work once again. Rifle not going to be able to be retrieved, and the T's still looking like they are going to go pushing in towards this B site. NKG ready and waiting. Already going to be spamming shots away, but can't do anything more. And Azag, wow, he's got an AK and armor. I feel like if he doesn't save it, he might be a little bit mental.
Yeah. Gonna try and go for the save. Support Zyred. Zyred actually pushing up a little bit. If they exit back towards T-spawn and over push out rather than just hiding on the lip angle and just waiting, they could actually be offered some guns here. Zyred pretty close to the Bunny Club. Just waiting for the push to come through. Of course, Shiki just going to run out. The rest of the team was just defending there. So he gets that free frag. They can actually get a second AK as well. It's going to be pushed straight towards him because the bomb blast had the second AK, but decides to just push in and die.
Wow. Why not, right?
I guess so. Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah, a little bit of a questionable decision, but you know.
Maybe Daniel didn't realize that the bomb blast gave him the AK. So he just ran in thinking he was trying to get a frag. Maybe trying to get the AK off Shiki's body.
Potentially.
Could have been it.
Things have happened like that in the past. And while look at the switch up from the T side, they know there'll be limitations to the utility here. Shiki leading the charge, and he's going to find himself the opener double as well. Looking for that third man, who he's spotted that Thomas will steal that one away. And it's already a slaughter over towards this B site. Neotiv going to be the only one left alive. And it's looking like a 13-9 scenario. And now the CT side again, they're going to be left with no cash. He may just want to try and save this once more.
Yeah, he's going to be trapped here. Endpoint can get away. Lazza going to push down. Lazza clears it though. Finds the frag with the AWP as well. Neotiv, no reaction there whatsoever. Just done in as Lazza slaps him with a weapon. That's the 13th round picked up. Shiki though, with the play here, somehow just able to sprint into the site. Finds 2 frags. Was trying to make it a hat trick, but Thomas was one step quicker than him. And now for CPAVKY. It's only one player with armor. Neotiv as well, actually going to go for the armor buy. You've got a smoke of 5 CZs, whereas Endpoint are armed to the teeth.
You say 5 CZs and a shiver goes down my spine. But Lazza is going to kick things off. The train will mask any sounds that Mighty Max have made, and that's actually only players on the B site now for CPAVKY. They had a little bit of connector control. But ultimately, we now look towards what the T's will do. If they just clear their angles properly, they should have all the information, but at the same time, the CTs will have lots of information for themselves as they can now look to try and fall in behind the Endpoint, maybe become imposters and join as a 6th man, or sorry, 7th man.
Of course.
That position's already taken.
Well, long control going to be claimed as Endpoint make their move. Zyred and NKG try and go for this assault from behind. Virgil waiting for the full frontal attack as it will start to arrive. Lazza punishing with the AWP, still just demolishing right now in terms of the Endpoint side. He has been the big dog finding all the frags. Shiki as well with a nice kill. Bounds around, takes out Neotiv. These CZs not really given a chance to shine. Shiki just sprinting in. Charges his way through, but it does pay off. He gets another kill, and NKG is the last man left standing, the Lone Ranger.
Wow. He has been good so far, though actually starting to fall back a little bit. He started so strong, and we sort of said it at the time. The chance of them keeping that going, pretty slim. CZ headshot, close range. Surprising that much. He almost gets the second as well.
It's crazy how strong it is.
It's silly. It's funny when I see, like, there's some people who just be along the lines of, like, oh, you're moaning about it, it's not even that overpowered. I'm like, have you ever watched a game of Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
Or even some, like, I can't remember, I think it might have been someone, it might have been Lecro, but I'm not sure. He was like, rather than complaining about it, what would you change? And I like that sort of idea, like, more thinking along the lines of things, but it's like, it doesn't matter if you come up with ideas of what you would change if nobody's listening.
Yeah. It is true.
I reckon I could walk into the street after this and shout my opinions, and it'd probably be more likely heard by Gaben than if I actually like sent him an email or actually atted the CSGO devs.
His emails, you know, they're probably quite full these days. Probably a lot of emails to get through. Maybe he's still trying to get through emails from like 2017. And that's why he's not quite got round to 2017 yet. But
So in about a year, they'll just give up on the game.
It's like a year
and
behind.
nobody cares.
That's what it'll be. It's all about a year behind.
Do people even complain on email anymore? It's all just on social, surely. It's all on Reddit and Twitter.
I think people still send
I'll be
emails.
honest, people have tried everything at this point. I sent him a fax.
Really? Do you know, interestingly enough, when Adult Swim cancelled the show Metalocalypse, people were faxing in, like, you know, please uncancel the show. So Adult Swim set up a live stream of their fax machine where the paper would come through and then go straight into a shredder and then someone would just take it to get recycled. And that's what they did for like weeks on end because people just wouldn't stop.
Yeah,
That's
but I
quite
feel
close.
like that also prompted them to do that more.
Probably.
Like, they probably sent more faxes just because that was funny. Either way, we got my favourite weapon in the game. We had my favourite weapon in the game. It didn't last too long. The XM, a beautiful gun. He didn't have the right skin, that's why it didn't work out. And while it is not working out, Endpoint are moments away from shutting this one down. 2 players in a retake of this B site. Make it just 1. Neo, the guy who came back for the second map, and the score was exactly the same. Negative Max is livid, but Mighty Max is feeling pretty good. 26 and 11 for him in that game.
That was nice. And actually, Luzzer as well, playing the role we needed to see.
Yeah.
Quite an aggressive walk, being allowed to go for the overextensions, not looking scared for once. And